Coming up next, I'll tell you how to recover from the aftershocks of the lockdown. I'll tell you how to start solving problems in a different way. We'll take your calls and your chats. It all starts right now. I am coming to you live from Ramsey Studios in Nashville. You are joining a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you want to do it, and how you can get there. In other words, it's all about you because you were created to fill a unique role through your work, a contribution. And somebody out there needs you to be you, so you've got to show up. We don't look at work here on the Ken Coleman Show as just this is just an avenue to create some money so that I could take care of the basics, splurge every once in a while, and hope to just keep that going until my time on this earth is done. Now, you think about work that way, yuck. No wonder millions and millions and millions of people around the globe see work as drudgery, and they're miserable on Monday mornings, just trying to make it to Friday evening. No. You were created to work. Therefore, you were also given talent, things you do well, to use as tools to do work that you actually enjoy. You look forward to this task or this role, and you produce something that the world needs. So I just broke down the 3 key indicators we'll look at here on the Ken Coleman Show. Talent, what you do best. Passion, what you love to do most. And mission, results that matter most. You have the answers, I promise. It's my job to pull them out of you. So let's do it, shall we? Fire the chat questions away there in the video window, and then to the right of it, the chat room. Fire those questions away. The team will get them to me here on the laptop, and we'll get to some a little bit later in the program. Also, like today's show, subscribe and share. All those things help us grow, and we are growing. And with millions and millions and millions of people out of work, wanting to get back into the workforce, needing to get back into the workforce, we want to be alongside you and your family and friends on the journey, because your best days and their best days are ahead. 844-747-2577. 844-747-2577 is the number. All right, saw an article, and I think this is really valuable stuff as we begin to come out of the economic suppression. From Forbes, how to recover from psychological aftershocks of lockdown during this incredibly different season. So in the article, Brian Robinson cites a conversation with Elaine Miller Karras. She's the author of Building Resilience to Trauma, the Trauma and Community Resiliency Models. That's the book. And he goes on to say that right now, people are under attack from trauma. And the way she defines trauma, I think this is really enlightening. Very simple. She says that trauma is simply too much or too little for too long. Too much of something or too little of something for too long. Now, that describes a lot of what is happening to men and women around the globe. That's real trauma. So what happens is it creates stress, and I've talked about this before, and so the stress now creates chemicals. The brain is like a dispenser and shoots these chemicals through our body. Some of the physical things that people are noticing: accelerated heart rate, rapid breathing, fatigue, and your body just can't continue to deal with those depletions or those complications. And so it creates a lot of disorders, health, mental disorders, and beyond. So the article recommends a process that I had never read before. It's called HALT. When worry and stress take hold, stop and ask yourself if you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. I thought that was really good. Simple process for getting clear. I love process for getting clear and getting perspective. And this is it. HALT. So you start to feel worried and stressed, stop and ask yourself, are you hungry? If you are, get something to eat. Ideally something that will give you energy, not fill you full of sugar and glucose and make you worse off after you're done with it. If you are angry, address it, ideally in a healthy way. And if you're lonely, connect with somebody, ideally somebody that you trust. And if you're tired, rest. The idea here is self-care. I've heard it said by many an expert before this crisis and certainly during, that self-care is the first line of defense. For those of you that are responsible for children, for other family members, you're the provider. If you spend all of your time in this crisis and then in uncertain times and seasons that will come, if you spend all of your time trying to pour yourself out, because that's the natural thing to do, and you don't fill yourself up, you will crash and burn. And that's actually more detrimental. You have got to take care of yourself first. I just love the analogy of I cannot pour out what I do not have. If I am an empty vessel, I can't pour anything out. I've got to be filling myself up. This is not a selfish pursuit. This is actually selfless. So consider that during this time and in future times of uncertainty. Take care of yourself first so that you can take care of the other priorities in your life. 844-747-2577 is the number. 844-747-2577. To the phones we go. Derek is on the line in Billings, Montana. Derek, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet. How can I help?
Ken, on your proximity principle, I've been a follower for about 2 years, and It's been good. On the proximity principle, about 4 years ago, I was, I had a resource, an insight to, took a job. It was a step up, and it was a good challenge. It was a good step. And then, it went downhill after that. I was contacted, I searched out, found another job, didn't work out. I found an inside resource, and I thought I got good information. So on my last two positions, and of course I'm not working now, COVID. So on my last two inside proximity resources, it just seems like they haven't been, which I thought they were good resources, they haven't been good jobs. So now going forward, using the proximity principle, I'm like, well, I really have trust issues going forward, trying to use my, in-source connections, networking.
Okay, let's break that down. What didn't work about the last two jobs? Why weren't they good jobs? I'm afraid you're blaming the wrong person, but let's see. What didn't work? Give me the quick list. I don't care how you break it down, but two jobs didn't work out because you used a proximity principle relationship and it didn't work out. Why?
The first one, I probably took the step, and I made a jump in it. Like I said, it was a vertical positional move, which that's where I wanted my career to go. You didn't answer my question.
Tell me specifically why the first job didn't work out. I know it sounds like you jumped and you didn't take a good look at it, but be more specific.
I think I had a lot of differences with. There's only a couple other upper management personnel, and we couldn't agree to disagree. It seemed like on anything.
Okay, so just not a good. Is it professional fit? Also ethical? I mean, what are we talking about? What types of things? I don't need to get too in the weeds, but I need you to hear yourself explain why it didn't work. You didn't see eye to eye. Is that a you thing? Is it a them thing? Is it a both of you thing?
I would say professional, and I'm gonna, I stepped up. I take some of the, a portion of the blame there.
What did you do wrong? Give me a quick summary. What did you do wrong that you wish you would have not have done or you've learned from?
I probably, I let myself go, and I guess I was fighting more for the company, and, I got into a pretty good argument, but I called them out on why we need to, do certain things the way we should do because it benefits the company. and others didn't think so.
Okay.
But,
and then in the second situation, give me a quick summary. What didn't work out in the second job?
The second one, that was a more interesting one, and I did get laid off, because of COVID and whatnot. But I thought I had a good resource, and I talked to him personally on the side a couple times, and he gave me the thumbs up
that it was a good fit for you.
Yeah, that it was a good fit.
And you're saying it wasn't a good fit prior to being laid off.
Yeah, no, I was definitely starting my look around. Here's the other thing is that last job I was in there, 2.5, 3 months. And then all of a sudden he gave notice and boom, he's gone.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with this. Can I tell you what, can I be really straightforward with you, Derek?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
You are the common denominator in both of these situations. And you need to look even further into what's really going on in your head and why you're even calling me. Because this is basically what you're saying. Ken, I used the proximity principle and it hasn't worked out for me. I need to use the proximity principle better. No, you don't. You in both situations made a connection, and that connection set you up to get the interview, and you ultimately got the job. Am I right so far?
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Okay. So listen. So but you are the common denominator in both situations. You said yes to a job that wasn't a good fit for you. That's on you. That's not on them. They work at the company. Of course, they're going to recommend their company. Or maybe they are in a different situation than you were. Or maybe they're a different person than you. Well, all these things are true. I'm trying to make a point, Derek, that you have got to take responsibility to say, all right, I'm interested in this company and specifically this position. Here's why. Here are the things that I know have to be in place for me to be a good fit. And I'm going to do my homework on those things in the interview process and talk to other people. I'm not going to blame the people that connected me to the job for things not working out. And listen, I think you need a real dose of reality right now. I sense that you are an overthinker, and I think you got to get some help. And I don't know if it's a couple sessions with a counselor. I don't think this is a major issue, but I think somebody who could speak some truth into you. And let's look at the pattern in your life and in the pattern in these jobs that that are creating this mindset to the way you called today. So the proximity principle works, man, and you've already used it. It's not the proximity principle problem, and it's not your source problem. It's a you problem. Because either, and you admitted that you did some things that you wish you wouldn't have done and you learned from, hopefully, in the first one. And in the second one, doesn't sound like there's any conflict, but in both cases, you made the wrong choice. That's on you. That's not on those people. So you need to, this is a good season in life for you to go, what's causing me to be so uncomfortable? What's causing me to make the wrong decision? It's a wake-up call, wake-up time for you. Now, be encouraged that if you really wrestle with this and step into this uncomfortable tension and see that you are the common denominator, and let's figure that out, then the good news is that clarity can lead to confidence in what you're looking for and that you will make the right decision in the future. 844-747-2577 is the number. Let's go to Stephanie next in Augusta, Maine. Stephanie, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet. What's up?
So I recently just changed jobs. I'm sorry, I'm going to get upset.
That's okay. That's okay. You just do you.
Okay. So I was an educator in ed tech, and then I moved into what I would consider the corporate world.
Yeah.
I'm doing taxes now.
Okay.
And just, I know it's not for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Why the emotion? Tell me what's going on.
I don't know. I want to be doing what I want to do.
Yes.
I love gardening. I love landscaping. I love outdoors. I love being in my environment at home. I just want to build my own thing.
Yeah. What's the emotion though? Are you just emotionally exhausted and you're just at the wit's end? What's causing this?
Yeah, it is. I'm driving to work every day like this.
Is it because you're in a situation where you feel like you can't do the job? Is it that you feel like you don't have the skill to do it, or that you're overwhelmed, or it's just emotionally draining? I really want to get to the bottom of this.
Okay, so it's because I'm pretty certain it's because I know this isn't what I was meant to do.
Okay, good.
I can do the job.
Okay, that's great. And you're not crazy stressed out, right? And you're not being verbally abused. Okay, so
No, there are some elements of the job that are difficult.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm not opposed to learning. It's just, I just feel like it's eating my soul.
It is, but you know why? Do you know why the tears?
No.
I think it's because you're afraid that you've wasted your life, your work life, or a bunch of your life, or you're fearful that there is no alternative and you're going to be stuck in this type of day job that has no connection to your heart forever. And I think that's what's causing you to feel the way you're feeling. Am I right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So
the other portion of that is I doubled my income. And and so there's that.
Also you feel guilty. I hate this thing that's making my life better. What's wrong with me?
Exactly.
Okay. Yep. I'm so glad you shared that, Stephanie. Let me tell you why it's important that we just discuss that. Those fears and the voice that those fears are whispering in your ear, maybe shouting. Feels like it might be shouting now at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it. Listen, those are lies. Number one, Stephanie, you haven't wasted your life. Okay? Number two, you're not selfish. You are not a jerk or an idiot. You fill in whatever the voice is telling you for feeling like, I don't want to do this even though I've doubled my income. That's not true either. And then the third thing I want you to hear, Stephanie, is it's not too late and you can do something that you love and make enough money. Yay! Come on, Stephanie. Woo! Come on, Stephanie. Let's get excited for a moment.
I wish I could.
No, you can't. No, seriously. Wait a second. Do you believe everything that I said?
I do. Yeah, he nailed it.
Okay. So wait a second. If you believe what I just said, then you can get excited.
Yeah.
All right. So today's the day. Today's the day we begin to change. Now we're going to do this really wise. Okay. So here's the deal. Okay. How much money do you make now?
I make 47.
Okay. And are you in a double income family?
I am.
Okay. And what were you, so you were making roughly 24, somewhere in that range, 23, 24.
22-ish, yeah.
22-ish, you were. And what were you doing there?
I was an ed tech. I was an educator.
Yeah, and you didn't like that either, right? Sucked the life out of you too.
I absolutely loved my students and my coworkers.
Yeah.
I got burned out with it.
I get it. So tell me, now listen, this is really important, Stephanie, because I've freed your brain momentarily. So I need you to stay in this moment of clarity right now.
Okay.
If money was not an object, and I guaranteed you the $47,000, but you got to do something in the outdoors, landscaping, gardening, working for a greenhouse, I don't know, you come up with the answer. What would you do tomorrow? Knowing you can't fail and I'm giving you the money, what do you do?
I'd do it.
What?
I'd bust it out. I don't know.
That's not true. Yes, you do know. I don't want doubtful Stephanie, the Stephanie who thinks she can't do it, the Stephanie who thinks it's too late, the Stephanie who thinks there's not enough money in it. Come on, Stephanie, what would you do tomorrow? You'd go, oh my gosh, to your family. I can't believe I get paid to do this. What would you do?
Right.
Say it.
Yeah, I would do it.
What? Say it.
I would probably open my own landscaping business or a garden center or...
Yes, there it is, Stephanie, breakthrough. Now, Stephanie, listen, we're not going to open up the landscaping business tomorrow, but that's not the point. The point is what needs to be true for Stephanie to be able to eventually own her own landscaping business. Now, there we go. There we go. Deep breath, Stephanie, deep breath. What needs to be true? Let me ask you this. If you went back to making $22,000, would that put you and your family in hardship?
No.
Okay, then. So you see what I'm not saying you need to do that. What I'm saying is what needs to be true for Stephanie to get on the path towards owning her own landscaping business. So I think you need to get into that space to get your soul filled back up.
Yeah.
Now describe really quickly for me in 30 seconds or less what your landscaping business will look like. What services or products would you offer? Go really quick. Say it.
So, just basic flowers, maybe even wedding bouquet, arrangements, things like that. Just a different,
Yeah, absolutely.
Just your normal.
So, there you go. Who's doing that in Augusta, Maine right now? You don't have to say it out loud, but who is it? You got it in your mind?
Yeah, I know. Yes. It's funny that you're saying this because I literally went through this scenario in my head this morning.
Well, good on you because you're exactly right. All I'm doing right now is confirming what you already thought. You're just scared to go after it.
Yeah, I am a little bit. Yeah.
No, but you don't need to be. You just told me that if you took a 50% pay cut and you went back to making 22, that it wouldn't put you all in financial hardship. And I'm not even saying you got to do that. But what if you leave in 2 weeks or 4 weeks or 6 weeks, this current gig, and you step into a landscaping company and you're office managing for them or you're doing all kinds of things. You bring so much experience to the table. You're good with details. That's what makes you good with accounting. What if you became the office manager and accountant and bookkeeper for a place where you actually got to walk in and see flowers all day? That'd be a better step forward.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And what if you started running their business and you started helping them run their small business and take over their scheduling and take over their hiring or whatever. And all of a sudden you're in the landscaping business and you're learning how to run a landscaping business for somebody else. Oh, wait a second. Would that be valuable for you down the road, Stephanie?
Absolutely.
All right. That's where you need to go.
Of course.
That's where you need to go. And soon. You hear me? So this is a conversation with Hubs, and we're going to have a budget conversation after we have the what if, and you're going to make moves to get into that industry. And you're going to work for somebody else for a season so that you learn everything you need to learn, and they pay you to get a master class in how to run the very thing you want to own. That's a heck of a plan right there, Stephanie. And here's the great news. That's your plan. You already came up with this morning. You just called me to get verification. And I'm telling you, Stephanie, it's time to start moving. The next tears I want to hear on the phone from you, or you call me up in the next year, 2, 3, 4 years, and you say, Ken, we talked a while back, and I was in tears the minute that you put me on the air. And now I'm crying because I own my own business, because I did everything that I knew I wanted to do, and it was hard, but it's been invigorating, and it's now exhilarating. That's the next phone call with you and me where you're in tears. You hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Stephanie, I believe in you. Come on, Stephanie. Come on. I believe in you.
I've got some decisions to make.
Yes, you do. And you better not let me down. You hear me?
I'll try not to.
You better not. The only way you let me down is if you don't go for this and if you quit. Don't you dare quit. Get after it. That's what it's about right there, Joe and Madison. Come on. If that was the only call I did on the show today, if that was the only thing I did on the show today, that's worth it. Because Stephanie is you. She's you. Come on, you're watching me. Who am I looking at right now? I want to look right into your soul. How many Stephanies are out there watching right now? You know exactly what you want to do. You know why you want to do it. You know where you can do it. But fear and doubt are telling you that it's too late. You wasted it. You got a good job, a safe job. And if you leave that, you're selfish or you're an idiot. Stephanie's not the only one. Not by a long shot is Stephanie the only one. 844-747-2577. 844-747-2577. Real quick, we've got an amazing deal right now. My number one best-selling book, The Proximity Principle, which says in order to do what you want to do, you got to get around people that are doing it. And in places where it is happening, you can use the Proximity Principle even now in the coronavirus situation. You don't have to have coffee with somebody. You can connect with them. But even more so when you get comfortable or you've been allowed to get around people. Go get the book. All 3 formats, hard copy, $10, ebook, $8, audiobook, $3.99 at kencoleman.com. Also, big news before we get to the chat room. Later this week, Joe, I don't know what day, but Joe's got this in here in front of you. He's like, now you can't tell him yet. All right. But big news coming this week. And if you don't want to miss it, make sure you're following me on Instagram at Ken Coleman, or you're subscribed to my newsletter. You can get that at kencoleman.com as well. Follow me on Instagram at Ken Coleman. We're going to announce it there. Or subscribe to the newsletter, kencoleman.com/subscribe. And I mean big news. Oh, my gosh. Joe, I'm not going to be able to sleep until I'm able to talk about it. All right. Let's go to the chat room. Nico says, hey, Ken, I got offered a promotion today because of the proximity principle. Hey, there we go. I like that. Troy writes in, hey, Ken, any off-the-cuff advice for folks looking for jobs in industries that have been heavily affected by this? I work in sports, live events. It seems there are less and less open positions. Yeah, that's absolutely true, Troy. The only advice I'm going to give you there is you continue to look and connect. Continue to look and connect. Why would you do that? Well, just assuming that nobody's hiring in that space, I think is foolish. And so I would continue to be looking every day. And I would continue as I'm looking to connect. Hey, I know you're probably not hiring right now. You don't even know when you might come back online. But man, when you do, this is what I've been doing. This is what I can do. I'd love to do it for you. It's that kind of communication, and not overboard. Don't be obnoxious with it. One touch. And then circle back months from now when things begin to kind of look like they're going to thaw. But you're looking and connecting. That's all you can do. Because the reality is you want to be top of mind at the right time. And so the only way to ensure that is to be looking all the time for potential opportunities and opportunities in the now and the next. That's what you're looking for. And you're connecting the right way. Okay? Connecting the right way. That's why you got to get the proximity principle. I tell you exactly how to do it. So go get the book, whatever format you want. Lucy writes in, I'm a chef and a food service manager. I love developing people. I'm interested in nutrition and wellness. How do I marry the two? Well, you're a chef and you got and a food service manager. And so that's going to allow you to develop people, because when you're a chef or in that manager role, you're leading people. So, to do it effectively, you got to develop the people. So that's perfect. The nutrition and wellness, I would try to get involved with a very, I think 2 ways I would look, 2 directions. One, a healthier type restaurant. And I'm thinking of several here in the Nashville area that their fare, what the food they offer is completely health conscious. You're not going to find anything on the menu that's not super good for you. So you move into that space, and you're seeing more and more of those type restaurant options. And I think you'll continue to see that. So take that chef and food service skill and experience and move into a place where everything that's being served is aligned with your love of wellness and nutrition. The other way is to potentially go work for a company that creates and produces healthy supplements or food or something like that. And again, you're still involved with leading a team that is offering nutrition products. So it may not be the traditional, well, here's an entree and here's an appetizer. So look in those areas. Who's creating the healthy supplements, the food, not just vitamins, but type food and things like that. And go that direction. And I think an area that's going to continue to explode, it was already big before this. I'll give you a third idea. And that is the food delivery services from, you can get healthy meals. So I think of like HelloFresh is one idea that comes to my mind. I think more and more you're going to see, if you can send me meals for the week or for 2 weeks that are frozen or refrigerated and they're healthy, and all I got to do is cook them or warm them up, makes my life easier. If you got 2 working parents, see, again, healthy options. So I would want that for my family, but I'd want them to be healthy, or else I can just go to the grocery store and buy the frozen meals that are just loaded with all the garbage. So a couple ideas there. 844-747-2577. 844-747-2577. Another quick announcement, and I'm gonna tell you how to start solving your problems. How to start. Problem solving is complex up here, but when we begin to look into it, the solution is simple on how to start solving problems. I'm going to give you that nugget in just a second. But we just launched our Foundations in Career Readiness. This is a at-home study for young people. Think 13 through 19. And it's all online, parents. This is how to get ready to step into the professional world. So this is my content, my methodology, and I'm teaching in this online product. It's called Foundations in Career Readiness. It's going to get you ready to land the first job and step into the career you love. It's jam-packed. We just launched it. Special price of $30. Eventually, it's going to go up to $90. Right now, it's $29.99. And you can get it at kencoleman.com/store. kencoleman.com/store. $30. And it is I believe it's a masterclass developed for the 13 to 19-year-old to get them ready and get them in. So parents, grandparents, great resource. $29.99, kencoleman.com/store. Go get it. All right. Albert Einstein once said, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Now, at first pass, it seems like, okay, that's pretty obvious. But this is one of the smartest guys on the planet of all time. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. But many of us try to do that. We get ourselves in a problem and we don't change the way we look at our behaviors, the thinking behind the behaviors that got us into the problem. So what do we need to do? This is how you start to solve the problems in your personal life, your financial life, your professional life. This is how you start. I saw this quote over the weekend. I went, I got to teach this. Here's what I take away from what Albert Einstein is saying. I've got to look at my problems with a different light. I've got to look at my problems from a different angle. All right, so let me break that down. What I think of when I say different light is I got to shine the light of truth on this from somebody else, or dive into what was wrong about my thinking, which led to wrong behaviors, which drove me into a problem. So I got to step back out of this and I've got to get some insight from others, some wisdom from others, different opinions, different perspectives, all from others. So I see this thing from a different light. Okay? And then from a different angle, I want to look at, well, what could I have done differently? So I want to break down all of the things that got me there. What if I had done something different? What would I have needed to do? And how long would that have taken? And what would have had to be different for me to come at it from this different angle? So we want the light of truth and wisdom on it. And then we also want to come at it. It's almost like walk around it if you can, right? I want to see, well, what's another way I could have done what I did? If I had come from this angle, right, taken a different approach. That's what I mean here. Really examine it from all different perspectives. That's the angle that we're talking about here. And when you do that, you realize that you have turned something that was a negative, the problem, into something positive, which now you have the experience and you have the truth, the lessons from the experience. I've heard it said, the colloquial phrase that's been around forever, sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. I think that's actually not the best way to look at that. Sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. So every time we don't win, instead of going, well, I lost there. Well, no, you lost if you accept that. If you walk away and you choose not to learn something and you choose not to continue to go forward, then that's a loss. And, sometimes we have to cut our losses. I'll give you that. But when we know we should continue to go forward, despite the fact that we failed, that's when we flip it from sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. And you've got to come at this failure, this problem. And you got to realize it was my thinking that informed my actions, and that's what created the problem. That's what created the problem. 844-747-2577 is the number, 844-747-2577. I'm going to go to another question, Joe, because I'm not ready to be done. And so we'll do a quick chat room. I want to get to one of the ones that came in here. How would you help this is from O. Perez. How would you help your spouse discover their strengths when they are very critical of themselves? I love this question. So I think there's a 2-step process that I would employ. The first is, to the extent that you don't know everything, or you feel like you want to get some confirmation on why the spouse is critical of themselves, we got to dig into that first. So talk with them about what you feel like you know. Hey, I feel like you're critical of yourself because of this experience, because of what happened here. Do you feel that way? You don't want to tell them, you want to ask them. And then go deeper to things that, hey, before we became married, before we started dating, did you feel this way about yourself, and why? We've got to help them as their spouse to dive into their story, their past, and figure out what has happened to them that makes them so critical of themselves. We got to shine the light on that. Okay? And in doing so, you then say, that's not true. I know you feel that way, and you were hurt. And I get it. But I'm telling you, as your spouse, it's not true. That's not who you are. Your past does not need to define you. Let's let it refine you. The fire of the pain makes you stronger. And so I would start there. That's step one. Step two is, after you've had the opportunity to talk with them and they begin to see how their past pain and failures have made them really critical of themselves, you then say, look, that's all a lie. Let's look at what's really true. Here's what you're really gifted at. Here's what people have always said about you. Here's what I see. Here's what others have said. And you begin to build into them and reinforce them with the truth about what they're actually really good at. And I mean, constantly remind them. And let it come from all angles. Have other people enlist in this battle to help you enlighten your spouse as to what they're really actually good at and what they have to offer as a result of the strings. And then I would tell you, if they're not listening to the show, have them listen to the show. And if they're willing, have them call me. And let me be another advocate to walk them through the 3 indicators: what she or he does best, what they love to do most, and what matters most. Talent, what you do best. Passion, what you love to do most. Mission, the results that matter most. And when we can begin to, again, help them get clear. It's why it's stage 1 in my 7 stages, to live in the dream. Got to get clear. A clear person is confident. See, if we can help your spouse go from this idea that they don't matter much and they've got nothing to offer to, I matter a whole bunch and I got a lot to offer. You see the difference? A clear person can be confident and will be confident. And that confidence will give them the courage to step out and stay on the course. So that's how it works. Big love to you, O Perez. Good spouse. Way to go. It's a good fight. Fight for them, not against them. Be supportive. Don't be obnoxious. Well, my time is almost up. But before I let you go, you matter. You do have what it takes. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on.